Welcome. Thank you for stopping by here on YouTube Live at The Real Bloom from Within Love. I go by Bloomy. I'm a little out of breath, guys, because at first I was on the live on TikTok. And my TikTok community, for the most part, they like the readings, right? Just depends on what day it is. And so I'm trying to conserve energy in that way and know where to put energy into, which portal, which platform, yada, yada. And so I was over there for a while. Then, I went to my laundry room here to pull out some clothes really quick. And then, so that's why I'm kind of out of breath a little bit. But anyway, anything that you all need to know about me should be listed in the description box. And I want to say thank you. I send my love and my light and positive vibes to those who send me love and light and positive vibes. Those that are here on high vibrational energy and intentions towards me, towards what I do here, as well as fellow folks like myself in the tarot community here at in YouTube world. Okay, we can certainly use that energy because any authentic readers out there, or readers that are awakening or ascending, or readers that are able to, pull out truths and things, they are certainly targeted and attacked because it exposes darkness. It exposes the secret things that people have worked so very hard and diligent to keep in illusion. Okay, to keep people in illusion so that people aren't free or don't have a clear heart and a clear mind to see for themselves and be free and decide for themselves. So we certainly appreciate all of you who truly from your heart space send positivity. Okay, we're not perfect, you're not perfect, but let me tell you, there's a big difference between someone not perfect and someone downright evil. Okay, they're not one and the same. Okay, someone making mistakes, someone trying to heal and grow, and all of those things, it's not one and the same. Someone that's operating from malevolent energy and evilness, if you will, are karmic in nature. Okay, they could have agreed to it, no less, but it is a difference, and I feel like we need to start saying that too, because I think this is like a manipulative tactic to go, well, you guys aren't perfect and they're not perfect, and to deflect off the fact that somebody's been toxic as hell. You know what I'm saying? Or doing things to hurt people intentionally. Like, how is that hard to figure out versus someone that they just was doing the best they can? They got thrown with spell work their whole life. They had to raise themselves, heal their wounds. And so they made poor decisions, but they were not going around in malice. Totally different. That is a totally different kind of frequency. Okay. Anyway, topic of discussion is about the soul, spiritual inheritance, right? Or whatever you want to equate it to is not directly related to your bloodline. I talked about it a little bit on TikTok and then I pulled back. And so I felt it'd be more beneficial and productive for me to do it in this way. Because that way, at any given point in time, it's going to be sitting there so anybody can come later on and scan through it. I talked about how everything in the universe is really neutral, but everything could be exploited. And when an individual is asleep, karmic, or in lower vibration and they stumble across spirituality, this is where it goes way wrong. Whether it be religion from traditional standpoint or spiritualism. Anything can be exploited when the ego is running the show, when the heart is not awakened and healed, okay, and balanced. So some people in their egoic mind feel like they want to have something someone else have, or they feel deserving of, or they want to bend the will of the universe and bend destinies based on knowledge that they've accumulated. I was mentioning about how for me, now just take what resonate. I'm not here to change you. No one should be. This should be your path and you following your higher soul's guidance and yielding accordingly. Okay? So just take what's jiving for you. But for me personally, it's appalling to me. I don't jive with the whole idea of using spirituality, whether that be, magical arts, prayers, rituals, to violate people or to bend the will of people. And I feel like, okay, forgive me if it sounds like I'm going to be jumping around a little bit because I just freestyle it. I don't have a script. I don't sit down and write a script and try to over professionalize things. That's not my get down. Okay. No quorums to those of you who do, but that's not my get down. Okay. Now, hmm, it's off. Magic or scripting or any form of spirituality, affirmations, belief systems is really designed for one's own healing ascension, to help one to reprogram themselves and to understand that they can co create and manifest with the universe accordingly without violating people because it's attraction. So if it's in there, then there is it in the ethers, if you will, or the vortex or the Akash without needing to play in energy. So without needing to try to dive in somebody's mind by subliminal messages or hypnosis without their free will, clear intentions or permissions given, okay, to get them to do something that you want them to do or take something that you feel like you ought to have. That is the definition of energy gone wrong. There's consequences for that. It's the law of cause and effect. And sometimes it takes a while. I did a video on that a few months ago. It takes a while to catch up for people to see the ramification. So there's like this deceptive illusionary high and sense of victory that gets people trapped in living their lives that way. Oh, I did this spell and I did this and that. But when you hear it, doesn't it sound off? Oh, I played in their energy. I went to an energy worker and I told them to do a destiny swap, or I paid this practitioner to do a death ritual. Do we, think about that? How does that sound? Does that sound spiritual? I mean, just ponder that. Just even ask yourself, does that sound anything remotely close to being loving and benevolent in nature? When it's built on the sheer desire to be someone else or have something someone else have, or that past life energy, which is what they're running off of. They could have been karmics in other lives and they didn't learn their lessons that they were supposed to, and they follow you in other lifetimes and they're still operating in that same subconscious energy. I did a reading on the Terminator, people here subconsciously programmed to destroy you, and often they're your own blood. So you don't share in the same inheritance as them, and they don't share in the same inheritance as you. They've had a different whole soul get down. Okay. You all haven't had every lifetime together, but when people are in this lower vibration, I was even thinking about people who, they practice the dark arts or their Luciferian Satanisms, in the closet, Christians in the daytime or whatever. Okay. And they could decide like build a bear and shit, that build a bear, build energy, but in a very predatory, violating way. Oh, okay, I want the soul and the energy of this person to be in the body of this person. And, or I just want the destiny to be given to this person and then give this person their destiny. Do you know how sick that sounds? I don't even know why anybody that is around that or sat near it should have been scratching their head. Anybody who does that, like, how about we heal? How about we go within, connect with source? How about, we work on our mind to reprogram it so that we can start changing from that perspective and not feeling like we need to resort ourselves to that, because that's going to come with a heavy price. So, these are spiritual laws. I certainly invite you all to do your due diligence. You'll hear me preach this constantly, because that's the empowerment. Don't just swallow anything from anybody, including me. Okay? Do your due diligence. Understand that there's always cause and effect at play. Okay? This ain't build a bear. This ain't build a, whoever got a certain destiny, their soul has earned that destiny, dudes. It's not up to another human being to determine that. It's up to every human to find their way. You know what I'm saying? Without trying to exploit. So it's like, I try to respect, you guys know me. I try to stay neutral. I do the best I can, man. But, when I stumble across videos, even here on YouTube, I'm not with that. I feel like, I'm just going to be 100% honest. I feel like, what have we come to? Every time I see something that says make them obsessed, they're going to obsess about you if you listen to this. They're going to call. I'm like, so okay, you that low vibrational, you're that unhealed, to where you think the only way you can find happiness in this life is if this one individual, and you're willing to do it, even if it means trying to bend their crown chakra with manipulation and spell work. How does that sound when we say it like that? Doesn't sound pretty, huh? I believe, I used to watch these shows that deals with a lot about, spirituality, spell work, things of that nature. Um, I certainly believe in defense. Everybody has a right to defend themselves. Just like if in the physical, if somebody is beating you up or trying to beat you up in the physical, if you have any strength in you, or if you have any capability, you're going to at least try to defend yourself. You're going to at least try. That's built into your DNA as a human. Yep, there's the ding dong. You're going to at least try, right, to fight them off. So, because you're trying to preserve yourself. So I feel like there's a certain level of defense, okay, from people who are insistent on violating people. You see what I'm trying to say? It's the same thing. When you have people that are in the physical, they go around bullying people. Okay, they won't listen to nobody, because they have the God complex. They beat up everybody, and everybody's afraid of them, and so they won't listen to anybody, right? In the physical. So when they're going around attacking or beating up people, those very people have a right to defend. That's their birthright, to defend, and not just sit with it, and not just accept it, and not just not say anything, and not just, pretend it away and all that, shake their hand away. It's like they have a right to defend. If I don't defend, they're going to beat me up. So, use caution with that. You got to follow your discernment. When your soul is telling you when to hold them, when to fold them, when to respond, when to not respond, but as it pertains to people playing in people's energy, spiritualist, distorted spiritualist energy, tarot readers, Reiki masters that are not healing and awakened, but they use energy world to manipulate their world, to put spells on those that have money and power, to give them things, to, try to dictate and control other people's realities and destinies without their consent, right? That's the violation. But when someone is stepping up in energy to defend, once they become aware that people are sending death spells and have been sending death spells, people are sending chaos magic and been sending chaos magic. People coming in with vendettas from other lifetimes, and they didn't learn their lesson, and they're coming in this one with it. You know what I'm saying? That other individual that's receiving or getting hit with the fuck shit has a right to, first of all, expose them all, whether people believe it or not. because truths will support truth. That's something I have learned at the end of the day. When you know you're in that energy. So these individuals have a right to speak their truth, defend themselves, and deal with that energy. That's defense. Okay? That's integrity though. That's from the heart space, and that is from one's right. So you can say something like people that's insisted on being obsessed about you or stalking you, bullying you, um, feeling entitled to your world and your energy, and getting groups of people to join with them and do all that. You can set certain intentions and do your own rituals pertaining to reinforcing your divinity. So binding them away, where they tried to bind, certain things like unwind, bind, return, stuff like that. Okay. On a time release, speaking your truth. These things aren't low vibrational. It's your birthright, man. Okay. Um, and if ever you hear people talking like that, you don't have to say anything, but that should just be your indication that something is way off. They're in a lack mentality. They're not healed. They got bit. I call it they got bit. They got indoctrinated. You know what I'm saying? Into this whole pat and claw energy at any cost, even if it means setting people up to die. Not thinking about how it affects this is when people are just, man, but they pretend, they hide, they crazy make, they try to make these people out to be crazy. They're narcissists. They did all this stuff in secret, but wanted to act godly or pure, by day and in the public. And I feel like this is the hour where a lot of that for the collective of folks is starting to shatter, because too many imbalances have been done, too many injustices, too many violations to people's energy, their free will, too many things people have tried to do to hurt and sabotage other people's lives out of sheer envy and jealousy and greed. Okay. When people steal your inheritance, oh, that's the other message. I heard another person mention that. And so I thought I would share it. Listen, if somebody stole your stuff, the stuff that they built on your blood, the stuff that they built with what was yours is cursed, especially if they refused to do what was right as they were being guided. Okay. What do I mean by that? It's going to be chaos and destruction. Some of them will absolutely lose it all. Others of them, they'll have to fight and pant and claw the rest of their lives just to keep their head above water. Others of them will be like destitute, unhappy. They did all of that and then are unhappy, depending on the level of disgust that they reduce themselves to. But it's according to source, and it's according to their higher selves and teams that is governing how that plays out for them, because it's a violation. If something was justly yours, you get blessed and covered and protected as a divine being. So essentially, as you stay your path and heal and grow and move on, what is yours, and you recreate and co-create with the universe. So everything that people panting and clawing and stealing and lying and cheating and spell casting and all this stuff grouping up, it's cursed. Some of them are going to jail. That's been coming out a lot, either spiritual or literal. Okay. Some, especially people who, they got comfortable because maybe they knew people in high places that were corrupt, So, hey, it works. I got a contact over there, got a contact over there. Whoa, I can do me a little spelly spell, me and my other dark witch ovens, and we can cook some up. You know what I'm saying? And so they got comfortable. People get comfortable. But then it hits, guys, because these are violations. Everybody has a path and journey, but no one has a right to violate people for whatever their rationale is. Okay? They don't like what somebody said. They don't like that somebody stood up to them. They don't like that somebody told the truth. They don't like that somebody get attention. They don't like that, it ain't them. They don't like, whatever it is. Spiritualists that are competitive. I mean, all these things reveals to you someone's true vibrational state and their true conscious level. Okay, because when you are on this kind of journey and doing this type of work, you really know that you don't have the need to do that. You don't need to go around trying to sabotage someone else because you know who you are and you understand the law of cause and effect. You don't practice in those things. You're not thirsty for money and willing to violate spiritual law to have a client. Oh, I know death rituals are wrong, but I'll do it if you give me $1,000. Like, that's not an awakened soul's energy. Okay? Because that's dealing with the will of others. People can do stuff to heal, like they can do, like I said, subliminals, affirmations for oneself. And for your protection, people that are insisted upon violating your boundaries. But anything outside of that, like trying to stake claim on somebody else's life, somebody else's soul, somebody else's destiny, trying to make somebody love you, make somebody choose you, trying to make your beauty someone else's and give somebody else your ugly, and trying to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of that is all energy, and it all eventually erupts like a volcano. Especially if that person, unbeknownst to the others, was a divine being, whether they want them to be or not. They did the same thing to Jesus. It's never going to change as long as we're on the earth scope. People are going to always have that lower vibratory 3D based perception. Oh, well, they ain't all of that, and they don't look this, and they don't that, and I this, and I that, and what good thing comes out of Nazareth? The carpenter's son. Regular old Joe Schmo. Disrespect him. Because he wasn't fanciful enough, right? He wasn't fanciful enough. He didn't have the bells and whistles that says King of Kings the way they thought it should have said King of Kings. Hell, he didn't even care. That's a whole nother video. So just take this with you, you guys. Everything comes with a price. Being related to somebody doesn't mean that it's your birthright to have what they have. Your life path could have been different. Your life choices could have been different. You could be on soul level 2 and they're on soul level 9. You could have maybe missed some lessons in the last one and you're called to learn it here. And they could have passed that. It doesn't mean they're better. It's the soul's journey. And then it should be an indication to oneself if you find that you're sitting and reducing yourself to those types of things. It should be an indication to oneself that something is off within oneself. If oneself is sitting down literally thinking that way, hiring people, doing things, that should be clear, yet trying to go on platforms acting sane or pure or loving, that should be, but see, those are the disorders we talk about: narcissism, sociopath, psychopath, karmic. The worst ones are always the spiritual ones, the spiritual narcs and the religious narcs. They're the worst because they have a 3D persona that they hide behind. Okay? It's easier to see the people that proclaim their, Satanism or Luciferianism, that's free with it. You know who they are, who claim it and wear it like a badge, But I heard somebody say something today. It's like, to these people, the master illusionists, it's more effective when it's unknown. I say this to you guys all the time. The greatest master magic spell of all is to convince someone that there is none. The second greatest master spell of all, to misdirect, like Loki, the art and magic of misdirection. to convince someone that it's someone else. So these are individuals that do things behind the scene and then get in groups or get in the public and cry and go and start doing all the speaking in tongues and falling on the floor, and they whether it's the Christianity or even Reiki or any kind of field where they have this persona to the public and to people that they're trying to convince of their innocence. Oh, I'm just an old person, I'm just going but behind the scene is in cahoots and distorted and doing evil, wicked things to their own kin, violating boundaries, disrespectful, okay? But want to demand respect like they deserve it. That's some distorted energy. I'm telling y'all, that's a program. It's some fucked up ass narcissistic shit. I can be toxic and dysfunctional and abusive, but I should be respected because I had sex and I gave birth. No. Okay, collective, absolutely not. Free yourself. No. Nope. They don't just get to get. You know what I'm saying? No. And what they steal, it'll be cursed. And some of them don't find out until it's almost like they don't even catch up with that reality until it's way too late. Because they were getting away with stuff for so long. They were so in the ego, they were so in the whatever for so long. And then by the time it all comes full circle, they make sense of it and it's hitting the fan. Right? But collective, if you're on the receiving side, the higher vibe side, understand that I know the hardest part about this journey is understanding that loyalty lies with your divinity, not with blood. Okay? Because if people have misused you and abused you and is denying it, your loyalty doesn't need to be there. If people have literally lied on you and to you, insulted your intelligence, stole what was yours, act like it didn't happen, worse yet, projected the things that they were doing onto you as if you were, and haven't acknowledged it, haven't healed, haven't remedied or made an amends, they are not deserving of your loyalty. They're programmed to kill you. They're programmed to be your antagonist. They're programmed to sabotage you. They're programmed to copycat you and act like your energy and essence is theirs. This is why you see them try to do what you do on different portals and platforms. That's that entitled, narcissistic, entitled energy. Right? So don't allow yourself, the hardest thing is letting that go of feeling bad when it's time for you to go on. Because many of you, that's all you ever really tried to do. Once you realize that people weren't really for you, once you realize that people weren't going to hear you and understand you no matter how many rounds you attempted to say something, once you accepted this and all of the signs that the universe was trying to give the entire time, many of you finally got to the place of saying, I will go on. I'm just going to detach and go on and create my life. And the problem is that they were harvesting and relying on your energy this whole time. So that's why they're so pissed. Many of you would ask the question, like, why does it matter so much? They try to act like I ain't nothing. They try to act like I'm so this and I'm so that. They try to act like, you know what I'm saying, they're so much better than me. They try to act like they're so much smarter than me. They try to, so then what's the real problem then at the end of the day, if that's the case? You already know. The real problem is because they're actually the codependent ones. They were codependent on your energy. And when we decide to pull that away, what they were feeding off of, This is why this stuff commenced. Oh, you're not going to let me control you. You're not going to let me use you. You're not going to let me have access. You're not going to be my stepping stone. You're not going to, when they see all this, okay, well, then I'm going to do spell work, and then I'm going to try to destroy you, and then I'm going to copycat you. I'm going to try, all those things. So many of you just decide, like, okay, fuck it, it hurt, but understand you have a right to that. You don't owe anybody, especially people who had no regard for you, man. And to this day, still going around faking and lying, still stalking, still reporting video, still copycatting, still projecting, still denying, right? You owe them nothing. You have a right to go on and live free, and you have a right to your justice. Your team's got you. You have a right to defend yourself. You have a right to stand in your truth and stand firm and speak your truth to people. It's a narcissistic program that makes people feel like someone doesn't have the right to look them square in the eye and tell them you were wrong. Your behavior was wrong. It was disrespectful. It was abusive. Narcissists have an overinflated delusional sense of self importance and sense of superiority. And they think that the people they abuse should still cower and, you know, see things their way, right? Absolutely not. Okay. All right, beautiful souls. I'm going to end this discussion because I said I'm doing this stuff in parts, but I'm glad I decided to do this here because that means it's going to be here for those who come later. So this makes this wonderful. Okay. And just take it how it fits for you. That's it. That's all. If you feel like it resonates, may it bless you. May it liberate you. May it empower you. Okay, on your path, and may it even strengthen you to know that whatever you're born into, you may not be that. You may have been born into something as the liberator, okay, on a soul level. And this is why you're attacked. This is why you're scapegoated. This is why you're projected upon. Okay. It's not a victim mentality. I can almost hear the narcs. It's not that. It's not playing victim. It's claiming destiny. I'm here for a reason. Okay. And as a result, I trigger my soul's destiny, my energy is meant to be healing and helpful. But to individuals that want to stay karmic and not learn these lessons round for round, lifetime for lifetime, that's going to be a problem for them. Okay. And they're going to feel entitled to some things. That's just the way it is. So, collective, it's all right. And it's not going to always be like that. Like, yes, you'll always have things, that's the nature of earth and a high vibrational life and a divine being. People who don't want to heal like to feed. If you look at it in terms of quantum physics, science, if we take it even there, right? Energy, the animal kingdom, okay? Whatever rocks your boat. Think about it. Think about even The Walking Dead, the show, okay? So they're not alive, and so what do they want? Since they got bit, and with that bite, they have lost their lives and they have lost a sense of consciousness. But their movement, their physicality is still functioning, oddly enough. Even though it's rotting, they're able to get up and walk and make funny sounds. And you know what I'm saying? But they're all drone like, they all look alike, they're all robotic, they're programmed. But what is it that they want? Life. Why? They lack it. So essentially, they're just running off their program to go and get, something that they ain't got from someone else. It's the same thing. If you're an ascended soul, or earth angel, star seed, whatever you want to equate that to, it's in your DNA, dude. This is why, if you look at your life, why were people always asking you to touch them and shit? Like, look at the little small things that seem insignificant or that people try to downplay or make small. Now look at it again. Why is that? Why, when you were around your family, ever, okay, from whether it was a young age to as an adult, they wouldn't say it to you, but haven't you kind of ever wondered, like, okay, they'll be like, oh, come here, could you put your hand right here? Why? If you ain't nothing special, since that's how they try to portray it, right? Why? What's so special about your hand and shit? You don't be seeing them asking there nobody else to do it. Or why they ask your kid that may have a similar DNA imprint? Why? Why do they want your energy and essence around them? Or go lay in my bed, or like, start thinking about this stuff. Why? Why they want to come sit and talk to you, but they act like you're dumb? But just look, reflect. They want to come talk to you. They come sit in your presence and asking you all these questions, but you stupid though, right? You're the stupid one. You're the delusional one. But they come and sit and ask you, oh, what do you think about this? Oh, da da da. And you share wisdom and you give them crystals and you tell them what it's for. And they go, oh, and then they put it in their bra, or they'll put it over here, yet act like they didn't do this or act like it never happened. But ask yourself this: why? Walking Dead. They know. Some of them did the research. Like I said, many of you, these people were doing this stuff since you were little. Some of them knew before you knew. So it was an attempt to intercept your destiny and to try to put theirs on you. It's the swap. I remember when I first came out here to Nevada, and after I went through like my first initial dark night of the soul, I had contacted, my soul was guiding me then. I had contacted a medium or somebody, and it was hard for me to wrap my head around what they were telling me though. And this stuff was brought back to my remembrance here recently, because it's like a shock effect. You go through cognitive dissonance. You start going, nah, because there's some stuff you don't want it to be true. Fuck it. Some stuff you just don't want it to be the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because a part of you feel like this is just appalling. Like, I'd rather not. It's easier for me to think Joe Schmo would do it, but this is a little different. Okay. So I was told, I remember listening, it was like an hour. I think I was talking to this person or getting a reading, and they said, I still hear it. And it was actually a man, oddly enough. He said, did you know that there's some in your family that send death rituals on you? And I said, huh? I kind of like paused and kind of squinted. I said, well, what do you mean? He was like, yeah. He said, did you know that people have been doing rituals? I was like, well, nobody told me nothing. Like, because at that point, I was just going through like my first initial dark night of the soul and awakening. I knew shit was always crazy. I knew shit was off. I knew I had senses of things. I knew, that. But I was like, oh. And then he was like, yeah. And it got confirmed again, like later on. I was dealing with another reader, but in a different way. And they were like, did you, somebody like put a curse on you, or they tried to hex you, or they sent you this or something that, or something to that effect? I was like, huh? Like, oh, somebody sacrificed you or something like that. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I was like, nobody didn't say anything. And that's what I told the person. And I think I even said something along the lines of, I was like, well, my family, again, like I told you guys, the danger is when you deal with families that are publicly professing to be something like Christians of God and loving. And so I think I said something to that this other next reader. I was like, well, I don't know. I said, you guys are saying that somebody did the rituals or the this. And I was like, traditionally, I'm like, my family is Christians. Um, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if they would. And then they were like, mm-mm. So it was confirmed like 3 different times. And so I was just like, I kept shaking it off. I kept feeling like, maybe it was a little extra and that part wasn't for me. And maybe, it was meant, maybe it was somebody else. And like, I kept doing that. But then all of this stuff has been brought back to me. And in retrospect, when I look back at everything, it makes perfect sense. When I start awakening and healing, then everything started getting activated and aligned, you guys. That's when a whole lot of stuff start coming now. It's like, oh, fuck me. It was hard, Um, yeah, yeah. And I'm sorry, guys, if this is you. I'm sorry. I don't even know what to say, man. As a reader of channel, all I can tell you is that the sooner we accept it, because see, I wouldn't. I admitted to you all, I want to say it was either on YouTube or TikTok. I admitted one of my own major downfalls, or was a major downfall, but they used it to their advantage. They knew who I was. One of my downfalls was loyalty. One of my downfalls was vows of silence, right? All in the name of whatever. But I heard another reader say she's on a similar path and she's like, everybody believes differently, but she's like, sometimes until we start calling out things, individuals keep doing it because they can and they can keep getting away with it. This is why they be trying to like bully people into silence. When we start to accept this, cry your tears. I'm not saying, we got to feel our way through it. Once you get through the cognitive dissonance, once you get through those 5 stages of grief, the denial. Okay. If you need professional help, certainly. I believe in holistic approach to things. Just be guided, by your higher resonance and hopefully qualify, not another Walking Dead with a damn degree on the wall. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Like try to be to the best of your ability, what to help you process through that level of trauma, right? That level of betrayal. And this is going to free you. This is where you see your energy shift. This is where the game change. I'm telling you, the game starts to change. It's that awareness and it's that ascension. That's the backing source. All of that. There's a clock for everything. There's a time, even though that's an illusion, but there's seasons to, where it's broken or something is exploded or, you know what I'm saying? And so I know nobody wants to believe it. Nobody wants to feel that way. Nobody wants to think it, but it'll liberate you if that's your story. Okay. If that's you, it'll keep you free. It'll keep you sane. It'll keep you honoring yourself. Remember this, if you guys watch The Walking Dead, I don't know if you guys are fans like myself, but the first season, like the ragtag team, whoop, the first ones and shit, right? When Rick Grimes was still on the scene with his handsome self. It's another story, man. Gosh, he's hot. Anyway, um, he is. Anyway, so check. Remember Daryl? Daryl is still a part, right? And on the first season, right? Daryl had a brother, an older brother. Okay. So this is when they were still getting the knowledge and understanding about what was really going on and everything. And so Unfortunately, his brother got into a brawl with this other group or gang or whatever. And then, he tried to go back to wherever the room where he last remembered his brother was. And, because he had tried to rescue him or whatever. And he had already died. He had died. They had killed him. And so, of course, naturally, he turned into a walker. And one of the most heartbreaking things, like I have clips of these types of scenes from the earlier seasons where it was heartbreaking for them. You know what I'm saying? Over time, they became a little more callous because they had seen stuff a lot. But at first, especially to those that were near and dear to them, that was hard. And there's this scene where Daryl his brother was no longer his brother. His brother had now gotten bitten and was, not even looking at Daryl the same way because he was gone. So he was going after Daryl now because he was looking for life force energy that Daryl had and he didn't. So Daryl is full of still life force, and he had to see and watch his own brother. He had to deal with the grief of the fact that somebody had killed his brother first and foremost. That's life altering. So he had to instantaneously stand there and deal with the fact that somebody had murdered his own brother, his brother. So that's the loss, okay? Then he had to deal with the trauma of his brother was a walker coming towards him to attack him. Then he had to deal with the trauma of I have to defend myself. It was my brother. But he's coming after me now. His consciousness is not there. He's just looking at me like a mill, like all the rest of the walkers. He's just coming for the life force energy like every other walker. If I allow, he will kill me. Because there is no rationale there anymore. There's no sanity there anymore. There's no morality anymore. He's only in a body now. And he's looking at me like the feast of all. Daryl had to do something that traumatized him. But it was either that or allow his brother to kill him or run away. And most of them at that time, they had this thing where if they could, they preferred that they put them down, like their family member, rather than someone else. Some of them wanted to be able to do things more honorably. They didn't want it, they were like, okay, I'd rather be me and to have a level of decency with this rather than some other Joe Schmo because somebody gonna kill the walker. That's what people do. Okay. Somebody gonna do it. So, and then to put them out of their misery, many of them felt like, don't let them be like that. Like they're gone. And I'm not implying, please take balance and wisdom with everything, guys. Don't be like that. Don't be like the teeny boppers. Okay. I'm not implying that any of us do these literal things. This is symbolism and metaphors here. Okay. That if you have already confirmed on your path that your own blood was your karmics, that they were karmics in another lifetime, that they're programmed, that they're not dealing with it. If these things have been confirmed with you as hard to believe and accept, your life kind of a little bit depends on it. Because they're programmed to sabotage. They came as antagonists. Okay? Unless they start listening, but most don't. Okay? Unless there is an unless they go, okay, I do want to catch it this lifetime. I don't want to have to, okay? And then they start hearing source and they'll hear, but most don't. So just like Daryl, it serves us well to understand that. You don't let them kill you. You don't sacrifice yourself for them. You don't, put yourself in compromising situations again and again once you know what you know. Because unlike the Walking Dead, unlike the walkers, you guys, the walkers are easy to identify. It's not hard. You ain't got to be a rocket scientist. But unlike that, in the 3D, those that are in that energy comes with beautiful packaging and smiles and gifts and, all sorts of things. Cry your tears, man. If you're new, to that part of the journey, do that. Yell. I think I did a post on my TikTok. Honor that anger, that Sekhmet energy, that Egyptian energy, man. It was like, no, honor. Give your anger a voice. People wants to shush that. They try to shame that. And it's usually people who don't want to be accountable to what they have done to provoke it. Anger is a gauge for something that was an injustice. Okay? And instead put a voice. And the reason why I feel like it's a voice, because the voice is our belief system. The voice is how we manifest. The voice is how we own our reality in a way as well. Right? So, oh man. Oh, sorry about that, y'all. Got me some other messages. Anyway, we'll um and again, we want to try to be balanced, but what I love about that reading is that anger is not bad. It's not trying to like tell people, oh my gosh, be angry and sin not. What is sin not? People just be saying shit. Well, what is that? It means you rule over it, you govern it, you experience it, you feel it. You don't allow yourself to be overtaken, but that has nothing to do with voicing your anger or standing up for something or speaking something. That is honor. It's how we all learn until we ascend to the higher realm of Christ consciousness. It's how we all learn. As long as we're plastering on these smiles and hiding in corners and pretending and making excuses and, oh, we don't want to make it look bad. Well, maybe we should stop being bad. Because it's energy. It goes both ways. It's that double standard shit is done. If you knew, if you knew for sure, start asking yourself some hard questions when you're at peace, not when you're upset, but when you're in a meditative state, when you're sitting alone, when you're connecting to source yourself, you're not distracting out by all the things we distract ourselves out with. But if you knew for sure, if you knew, ask yourself, if I knew as a matter of factly that this person I call kin is plotting to kill me, would I stay around? If I knew, as a matter of factly, no matter how much I loved them, no matter how much I felt a sense of a loyalty because of the culture and the conditioning and, that trauma bonding energy, this is what we come in with. That's all you know. And they make damn sure you're conditioned good and plenty for most of your life. We all you got. No, actually, you were all that were working against me the entire time. Because if we look at our lives, where were they? See, this is the great illusions. Would you stay? Would you want to go on a picnic? Would you want to spend the night? If you knew, if you were able to see beyond the illusion in the 3D, if you knew it was all a plan, if you knew they were conspiring the entire time with others, would you have any respect for them? Would you be loyal to them? Would you want to take a picture and go to the family reunion? Somebody's going to ask, are you saying we don't forgive? Actually, no, we do. It helps us to, we need to set intentions to continue to work through all of that. But just because you forgive, if you know, as a matter of factly, that that person, forgiveness and all, do you want to go to the picnic when they trying to slice the tires and shit? That try to come against your business, your platforms, had groups doing it, would you have any kind of respect for them? When the only thing you did was be you and walk away and speak truth about the fuck shit that was done to you. Hell, if you knew as a matter of factly, and yet they're still trying to create and keep up an illusion, would you have any respect for them? Would you feel like you can trust when they can't even acknowledge the truth? You'll come up with the answer quite easily, okay, in your meditative state. That at the end of the day, the best thing for all, especially yourself, if you want to have a happy and peaceful life that essentially they tried to steal, walk away, get distance, follow your guidance, stand up for yourself, work with your team, do your part of whatever you're being asked from your higher self or God or whoever your spiritual guides are in terms of anything that they did, do, or plan to do. Hand it over and then move on. Because guess what? Like I say so many different times, this is where it starts to get good. This is where all of that lower energy starts to dissipate. This is when you start to see your own divinity for what it was versus what they tried to do with it and create it to be and all of that. This is when you start to see that you can co-create and manifest. There are actually other humans that have similar paths or similar frequencies, and you know that as you honor yourself and stand up for yourself and have healthy boundaries and clear things and not hold back and speak your truth and live your truth. And as you continue that, you'll start to attract more of that versus the more we dishonor ourselves, the more we deny our truth, the more we pretend like this and pretend like that, we keep attracting that. So you start to see it like, wow, like it do happen though. Like you don't see it when you're in the thick of it. The shit, I ain't gonna lie to any of you. You don't see it, you don't feel it at first when you're in the thick of it. You know, when you're trying to hold your head on straight from the real. You're like, oh, this shit right here though. This shit right here though. Like, you be like, ooh. Then you start saying, spirit guides, source, hold me back, hold me back, hold me back. Because there's this righteous fury at the audacity of those types of violations from those who are your own blood. It's appalling. It's almost like you can see the flames come out of your hands and shit, be like, Phoenix, supernova and shit. How's this for a happy ending, suckers? You know? Oh boy. But then you get through it, you know? But just, man, embrace it. Stop fighting it. I did. I fought it. I fought it. And now, of course, hindsight 2020, retrospect, I look back, I go, oh, fuck me if I would have come to this long time ago. If I would have been paying attention to my body, oh, that's going to be a whole nother video, y'all. Because it was always there. Energy doesn't lie. The body can tell, especially if you're an empath, if you're real sensitive. It was always indicators. When I made a decision, it was indicators there for both me and my son, like, something feels wrong here. And lo and behold, it was. Lo and behold, it really was. So that's one of my greatest lessons that I had to learn and am, practicing daily more and more, really getting into that and paying attention to things more. You know what I'm saying? It's like this whole fairy energy when you come from, fucking your original carnation and shit, you come from some fucking starseed energy and damn, fairy and shit, you're all floaty. But see, it's not the nature of Earth school. So it's like you gotta accept that. Look, you do got the Walking Dead now. Start paying attention. Why? Why they asking all these questions? Who this? Randos and shit. I'm on it now, boy. And I ain't talking about paranoia. I'm actually very relaxed. I go about my day in a lax state, usually smiling and laughing and skipping or something. But when I sense an alert, I snap in that quick. And here comes somebody, I'll be like, whoop. I'm like, yeah, who that motherfucker? I said, that's what I be saying to myself. I don't say nothing, right? I'm still smiling, but I'll be like, yeah, my senses is going, because it's like when you live in a shark infested town, people who unfortunately, kind of fell into the rut or the frequency of a certain location, just like the Matrix, man, at any moment, them motherfuckers. And then especially if you know people who got people all over the place and shit, because that's what karmics do. They have a group, okay? And they be like, well, if you see that car and shit, that's why you get rid of it. You get you another one. Okay, take the pictures and the evidence and stuff that they did. But see, this is why you got to change your whole get down. You got to change the whole life, because that's their markers. Oh, they put a tracker device on their car and shit when they in there shopping at the Barnes and Nobles. You saw, I saw my auntie and them or whatever. Well, you know what I'm saying? Or if you were dating somebody and they were in a distorted energy and doing shit behind your back, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the real deal here. They'll try to make it seem like you crazy though. Fuck that. We got to get over being concerned about people saying that or thinking that. It's all in their head. Only people who are delusional are going to continue to believe that. This is why we have to change it up, change it up, change it up. Pay attention. Why are they asking me if they haven't seen me a long time at the Starbucks? You know, it seems nice and flattering, but then start looking at them, be like, who this? And if they picking up their phone and shit when they like rando smoke Joe Schmoes and shit. Oh, you have an Instagram, rando chick, while I'm doing a video. You have an Instagram? She was right there. She saw I was on TikTok. I remember that. This was a while back. See, mm-hmm. That kind of little weird shit. People want to give you shit. People leaving shit at your door. Ooh, let's put a spell on it and let's put some, it sounds ridiculous, So this is why we resisted you guys for a long time, because it sounds ridiculous. It sounds like in our logical senses, in our human nature, in our desire to not have people want to be that awful and fucked up and delusional, we don't want to. It sounds ridiculous. But listen, this is how I learned. I was like, look, fuck trying to convince people, because until they themselves endure or live something, it's not conceivable for them. Some people was on soul level 1 and all their greatest issue was, what are we having for dinner next week? You know what I'm saying? They're on soul level 1. So they can't equate to that stuff. To them, that doesn't exist in their system. But when you're a person that has endured the crazy weird shit, you know what you lived through. You know the weird shit. You know what I'm saying? So start making those adjustments. Like, okay, people who knew your car, or people who knew the places that you frequented, or they knew the neighborhood you lived in, or like, see, this is what these types of people do. Okay. And then they have intelligence and people and groups that are criminals, professional criminals, then they take it to other notches. Oh, let's go ahead and sign into their iCloud. Their Google account and shit. That's why some of them be asked, offering to, they be offering to the people that they be trying to lure and shit. I'll get a phone on my account, so they can be all in the business, all in your get down. So, well, let me give you this. I got rid of everything. I sure did. I wasn't playing. I was like, I'm good. My son, we're good. We're good. I don't want none of that shit. The special shit on it. And I'm like, no, thank you. We don't need the $20. We got more than $20. Thank you very much. I don't want the special. I ain't not. Nope. Where do you work? Oh, I'd rather not say. No, thank you. Don't need to know nothing. When you start figuring out that these people can't be trusted, listening to the little shit they say, Like, oh, there it is. Oh, you're concerned just in case something happened. No, you're waiting, motherfuckers. No, thank you. We do not want. Oh boy. No. Boundaries. Change or get down. Do things different. Go different routes. Protect yourself. And when you can, as you feel guided, like I said, I totally advise people to seek their soul resonance, to ask their team of what environments would be better for them during whatever phases they're going through. Most optimal, most beneficial, most healthy, not perfect, but vibrationally healthy, vibrationally safe, vibrationally conducive to whatever the next phase of somebody's life is. Setting those intentions and asking for all of the support from your team for that to be so, for that to be ensured. Sometimes it takes that, guys, on these paths. The sooner we swallow it, the less stressed we'll become. And yes, there's this level of stress and uncomfortable we feel when we're like changing our worlds and stuff, but it's the good kind. To me, it's the good kind. It's the liberating kind. It's the freeing kind that you don't got to live in a town of snakes anymore. You ain't got to live in a town of sharks. You ain't got to live in a town of pretenders, And yeah, you got to have some of those wherever you're going. I can almost hear people when they come on here. But I promise you this, ask yourself the question. Fuck that. Ask yourself the question. If ever you have traveled beyond your immediate where you're at, okay? Were you able to tell the difference in the energy? And when I say energy, understand I'm not talking about a poor neighborhood versus a rich neighborhood. That ain't what I'm talking about. That has a frequency, but that's not where I'm going. Haven't you ever noticed, like, okay, certain places, that's just the way it is, different signature, governed differently, they have different cultural things. And so because of it, it holds another kind of a frequency. It doesn't make one better or worse, but you know what's conducive for you, and so does your team. Okay. Certain places are probably more conducive for karmic energy because karmic energy is very 3D based. So it would make sense for certain locations to be flooded with that. And then there are other towns and cities and places where it's like there's kind of a balance a little bit there. And you notice that the people aren't as cutthroat, or the people aren't as prejudiced, or the people aren't as, shallow and surface and superficial and disloyal. And the people aren't, like you'll notice, like, okay, they ain't perfect, but shit, hell, they ain't fencing to kill you behind no $100 though, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? While they smiling at you and shit, you know. And that may serve, to uproot your life. And then be very selective. Not everybody needs to know shit. People could be trying to say in case of an emergency. That's the favorite go-to for motherfuckers that want to be nosy so they can try to track you and plan shit and do their special weird shit. I was out and about the other day, y'all, and I'm finna get off because I got to do my readings if my team's still let me. What time is it? I was doing my thing. I was like, whoop, and I was actually dancing, and so these people were laughing at me. I was at they're laughing. Um, I was at CVS, and I was going down some aisles looking at some stuff, and they were playing like the music or whatever, and so I was like really into it, right? And then I glanced and I noticed like the people like laughing and smiling. It was the people that worked there, right? And then I looked up, I was like, oh, hee, because they were like laughing. They were like, no, no, enjoy, have fun or whatever, right? I was like, yeah, yeah. And then I just kept going on about my business, right? Still focused. Then next thing I knew, one of the employees that saw me, she came up to me and she was very nice, a very nice lady, right? And I was like, okay, so maybe she's a salesperson. This is what I'm thinking in my head while we're exchanging. I'm like, okay, I listened to her. And I was like, okay, well, thank you. Always polite. I was like, yeah. And then like she just kept, she really wouldn't go away. So a part of me was like, okay, Brandy, people do get drawn by energy. You know this by now. So light, vibration, whatever, people do get drawn even if they're not aware of why. So I was like, okay. I still was trying to feel out. I'm paying attention to my feelers. So I was like, ugh. But then what kind of gave me like a little like question mark about this lady was two things. As we were talking and exchanging, and she was talking about her experience in Vegas, she had been in Vegas for 20 years and yada yada. And I was sharing my experience, and I was like, yeah, I was like, yeah, no, but I'm already done. I'm like, I'm already gone. I'm out of here. This is just not for me. I was like, no disrespect, no judgment. I was like, but it's not my place. I said, it's already set. It's on stone. I'm like, I'm on my way out. And she was like, oh, yeah, yeah. She's like, yeah, I understand. And then she kind of just kept insisting on, she kept bringing the conversation back around to, so where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going to move to? And I looked at her. I said, I'd rather not say. And she said, yeah. She said, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You probably don't want. I said, uh-huh. I said, yeah. I said, I've learned some nice little lessons out here. I said, yeah, no, I'd rather not say. I said, but the place is a much better suited place where I'm going. And she was like, okay. And then like she still wouldn't leave me alone. So I was trying to like, okay, be the nice, okay, and okay, do my shopping. So I was like, all right, just be nice, Brandy. She's a nice lady. She's just trying to be friendly, but the way I feel at this point in life, I'm like, especially out here, I'm like, nah, who this hoe? I ain't gonna say that, but cause yeah. So I got to the. I was still cool though, y'all, because I'm not gonna be mean and rude for no reason. Even if she had some weird intentions, I'm still not gonna do that. I'm just gonna proceed with caution. You know. So I got to the register and she's like, "Oh, have you did this? Okay, go ahead and get the care of this and whatever, and you get this off." I was like, "Okay, great." And then she just kept talking, and then like she even walked me out. Like, who does that? I've never experienced that before, where they walk you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so I was trying to leave, and she like ran behind me, y'all, and I turned around, and she was like, "Hey, hey," she was like, "I didn't, I didn't want you to leave yet. I wanted to give you some stuff." So she came out with this handbags full of stuff, and she said, she was like, she's like over the beauty department or something at the store. And so they give her all of these travel size things and that they tell her like she can give out. And so she was like, I want to give you stuff. I want to give you this. And I was like, oh, that's kind, right? That's very generous. And I know that that's the law of attraction as well. Sometimes we start shifting into a different energy of where, it starts to change in that way. So I was like, wow. I was like, well, damn, shit. She wants to do it that badly, like where she runs behind me. Um, so I was like, cool. I was smiling because I was like, it was a lot of stuff. It was all kind of goodies and shit that I like. So, boy, I tell you, when I got home, I was like, yeah, done. It's like free shit, free shit. um, and then I was like, Next thing I knew, it was like weird sensations. And then I saw a reader that was talking about be cautious of what you take from people. And I was like, why did I see this today? And because collective or whoever comes on at some point, please don't take it as a sign to be paranoid or to be hyper vigilant. That's not what I'm implying. I'm actually implying that we just start going back into our senses, feeling into things, okay, not just relying on the way something appears to be. Appears to be, right? I know not everything is deep, but some shit is, especially if you're on this kind of journey. So, rather than questioning it and going round for round, you guys know what I did? I'm gonna be on a real status. I said to my higher self and my guides, it says, I said, y'all, I don't want to become one of these people now. I'm like, sure, I like free shit. I don't want to become one of these weird people that don't want to take nice stuff. I'm like, the lady was nice. She chased me out the store. um, I said, but you know what? Because of what they have allowed me to go through, I told them, I said, but I'm not attached. So I'm grateful that I'm willing to. And I actually told them, I was like, when you're in a lack energy, you feel like you have to clench onto everything. So, it's like, ooh, right? But when we start to shift that, realizing that we don't, if I released it, first of all, I wasn't in need of it. Second of all, but as I release it, it was kind of like, well, Brandy, you've already learned some of these lessons already that you constantly manifest. You're constantly doing it, whether it is you shift here, you shift there, you lose this, you get this. All these changes is like to loosen my hand and to release it. I'm like, shit, I'd rather do that. I told my guys, I was like, you know what? I ain't fencing to bang my head on it because it ain't that deep. But the simple fact that it felt a little bit off to me, whether it was or not, it was a little strange. The whole little experience was enough. It was enough for me to release it. Like, let me bless someone else. So, what did I do? Because if there was something eerie, it was meant for me. Okay. So, what did I do? I took it and I blessed somebody. Somebody got them a nice little shoes. I was like, man, if this man, but I was happy. I was happy to do it. Somebody else to benefit off of something that maybe they couldn't afford it. Maybe they didn't even have those things. I don't actually need it. And that's what it freed me. I was like, I don't need it. I just like it. I was like, I just like this. It's free and it's all the kind of stuff I like. And I let it go, released. Why am I sharing that? To empower whoever comes on here at some point. Sometimes they say better safe than sorry. Only you're going to know the difference between paranoia and you practicing trying to follow your guidance system. Because sometimes it ain't worth it just to have a little jar of facial cream and the whole put some shit on it. 1-800 cast the ugly spell on the, like, because people look, y'all may not want to accept the reality that people do operate like that, but they do. And they smile in the daytime and they do all these things, but they do it. That's the lack mentality. Lack mentality looks at things and other people as competition, especially what they can't control. Fuck that. I was like, shoot, I got plenty of frame. I'm good. I'm good. All right, guys, I think I'm gonna have to wait on the reading. I'll see. I'm gonna rest a little bit and see if I'm released to do at least one of the two. Okay, because there's two. I got, what do I do with the notes? Um, where did it go? I'll give you guys what it's based off of for those of you who are interested in knowing. There we go. No, bummer. Hold on, guys. No. Don't you hate like when you hold on. There it goes. Woo. Okay. So Anita Baker is one of the songs. It's I Apologize. And then the other channel song is, I don't know who it's by, so I gotta look up the author. It's Darling Please Don't Go. So I can't wait to see what that's gonna be about. For some of you, it may be romance. Others, it's just friends. It may be similar to some of the other readings I've done last couple of days, but let's see. It may be for a whole nother set of collective, and we will find out what that's about. Okay. Hopefully, I can come back on within the next hour to do at least one of them. If not, we'll see. Because the next few days for me, I'm just letting y'all know in advance. I'm doing a lot. A lot is happening. A lot is changing quick. And so I'm going to try to get in what I can get in when I can get it in. Okay? All right, guys. Those of you who are here on High Vibe Energy, know that I appreciate you. Know that I send you love and light. Those of you who are going through dark nights of the soul or are resonating with anything that I've said here, that's painful. My love and light to you. I am wishing you well on your journey. I'm sending and intending that you align with your team to manifest supportive energy around you, within you, to help you transition smoothly into the next phases of your life, and that you recover and recruit from all of it quite rapidly, and that you experience the life you deserve to have, okay, by your divine birthright. All right. May they be well. May you be well. All right. Love and light. Namaste.